You are listening to WZ Tales. This story is about a man who thought he was building a future, only to find out he was just part of someone else's script. I proposed to my girlfriend at her favorite restaurant. She laughed in my face and told the entire dining room I was just for fun. As you listen, think about the point where you would have walked away. My girlfriend said, "You're not my future, just for fun." I replied, "I'll match your energy." Then I paid the bill in cash, walked out of our date spot alone, crashed at a friend's, and I just watched as her scripted second proposal crumbled when screenshots, and a new audience saw the truth. It was 2 in the morning and I could not sleep. I kept seeing the same scene over and over in my head. I am a fire captain. I have pulled people out of burning buildings. I have held pressure on wounds while we waited for paramedics. I thought I was good in high-stress moments. Turns out public humiliation is its own kind of fire. My girlfriend's name is Sloane. We had been together for 3 years. She manages a luxury furniture showroom downtown, the kind of place where one couch costs more than my truck. She is good at it. She knows how to tell a story about every piece and how to stay in the spotlight. I am more of a background guy. I show up, do my work, and go home. I thought we balanced each other out. We moved in together about 10 months ago. I am the kind of person who fixes things. When the dishwasher broke, I fixed it. When her car made a strange sound, I took a look. When she had a rough day, I made dinner and listened. I drove her to her mom's place 2 hours away every other weekend. I built shelves for her growing collection of design books. In my mind, we were building a life. Last month, I started thinking about proposing. It did not feel rushed. Her friends were getting engaged. We had talked about the future in general terms. The next step just seemed natural. I spent 3 weeks planning. Sloane has this Italian restaurant she loves, Romano's. She goes there all the time and posts photos for her social media. The lighting, the wine glasses, the plates, the whole thing. The owner, Giulia, knows her by name. I thought proposing there would be meaningful. Not a big show, just something special with enough people around to feel memorable. A story she could tell. I made a reservation for a Saturday night. I asked for the corner table by the window that she always requests. Giulia was excited to help. I spent 2 weeks interrogating her best friend, Tessa, about ring styles. I bought a platinum band with an oval diamond and a delicate setting. It cost about 4 months of paychecks. I told myself it was worth it. I thought I was paying for the rest of our lives. We got to the restaurant around 7:30. Sloane looked amazing. Red dress, hair styled, the kind of look that makes the whole room notice. She was in a good mood, telling me about a client who wanted to ship a dining table to Dubai. The restaurant was busy but not packed. I waited until after the main course. My hands were sweating. My heart was pounding. When I stood up, I saw her expression change. She knew what was coming. I got down on one knee. The room went quiet, the way it does when there is a proposal. You could hear the soft music in the background. I started the speech I had practiced in my truck on lunch breaks. I told her she made me want to be better, that I wanted to build a life with her, that I could not picture my future without her. I opened the ring box. She laughed, not a nervous little laugh, a full, loud laugh that bounced off the walls. People turned to stare. The couple next to us froze. The owner, standing nearby with dessert menus, stopped in place. Then, loud enough for everyone to hear, she said, "You are not my future, you are just for fun. Do not try to trap me with a ring." Humiliation in public like that is not just rejection. It is a message, this is how little I think of you. The whole restaurant went silent. In my memory, even the music stopped. I stayed on one knee for a second, trying to understand what I had just heard. Then I stood up and closed the ring box. I did not scream, I did not cry. It felt like someone had flipped a switch inside me and everything went blank. I smiled and said, "Yeah. That makes sense." She looked surprised, like she expected a scene. She started to say something, but I called the waiter over, paid the entire bill in cash, left a big tip because none of this was their fault, and walked toward the door. Sloane caught up to me in the parking lot, now angry instead of amused. "Are you seriously leaving?" I remember exactly what I said. "You wanted casual. I am matching the energy." I got in my truck and drove home. She called 4 times. I did not answer. Back at the apartment, I set the ring box on the kitchen counter like I was putting down my keys. Later, she texted that she was going to her friend Tessa's to process and not to wait up. I did not reply. I did not punch anything. I did not break down. I just felt empty and numb. Sometimes numbness is not a lack of feeling. It is your mind protecting you from the full impact of what just hit. I posted about it online, partly to get it out of my head. A lot of people told me the same thing. Set boundaries. Treat this the way she said she saw it. Casual. The night after Romano's, Sloane came home around midnight. I was in bed, not asleep, just staring at the ceiling. She came into the bedroom and tried to talk. She said she did not mean it the way it sounded, that I was overreacting, that I was making too big a deal out of a moment. I told her I was tired and rolled over. She stood there for a while, then left. The next morning, I got up for my shift at the station. I started taking extra hours, partly because we were short-staffed, partly because I did not want to be home. This is where I started changing how I acted. I stopped doing the little things. No more good morning texts, no more asking about her day, no more surprise coffees, no more fixing things around the apartment. When she texted, I answered with short, neutral replies. Cool. Okay. Can't, I'm working. At first, she did not seem to notice. She kept talking to me like normal, sending memes, complaining about clients, asking about dinner. I kept my answers short, the way you would talk to a roommate you barely know. By day 3, she started to notice. You seem distant. Are you mad at me? She asked. I told her I was not mad. I was just keeping things light the way she had described us. She did not like that answer. By day 4, she switched to social media. She posted a story with a quote about choosing freedom over pressure. Then another one about choosing myself, with a picture of her staring out a window. Her friend Tessa filled the comments with lines like "Queen energy" and "You deserve someone who gets it." I ignored it. People sent me screenshots. I just told them we were figuring things out. Whenever you stop feeding someone attention they are used to, you find out very quickly whether they cared about you or about the spotlight you gave them. Then the coincidences started. I go to the same gym near the station 3 mornings a week at 5:30. Wednesday, guess who shows up at the same time? Sloane, at a gym she has never gone to before. She hates mornings. She has not worked out since a hike we did last spring that she complained about for 2 days. She acted surprised to see me. Oh my God, what are the chances? The chances were 0. I nodded, kept my headphones in, and finished my workout. The next day, I stopped at a small coffee shop I like, the one near the station that is not trendy, just quiet with good coffee. I was reading a report when she walked in and did the same surprised act. I asked, "Are you tracking my schedule now? That is not very casual." She got defensive, said she was just in the area, even though the place is 15 minutes out of her usual route. That night at home, she tried a different approach. She got home from work and suddenly wanted to be domestic. She asked if I wanted her to cook something. She suggested we watch the show we used to follow together. I told her I already ate and needed to review training materials. She got upset. "Why are you being like this? We need to talk about what happened." I stayed calm and said, "I thought you did not want serious. I am respecting that." "That is not what I meant," she said. "Then what did you mean, because you said it pretty clearly in front of a room full of people?" She had no answer. She just went to the bedroom and slammed the door. I was not trying to punish her. I was just done giving more than I was getting. If she said I was just for fun, then I was going to stop acting like a future husband. A few days later, I got a text from her younger sister, Bri. "We have always been on good terms. She is straightforward and not into drama." Her text said, "We need to talk, but not at your place." We met at a coffee shop across town. Bri looked uncomfortable, which is not normal for her. She got straight to the point. She told me what happened at Romano's was not spontaneous. Sloane and Tessa had planned it. 2 weeks before the proposal, Sloane told Tessa she thought I was going to propose soon. She had noticed me acting secretive and asking about rings. Instead of being happy, she panicked. Not because she did not want to marry me, because she did not want to lose control. Bry showed me screenshots from a group chat. The names were mostly blacked out, but you could see Sloane and Tessa clearly. Their plan was to publicly reject me in a way that would shock and hurt me. The idea was that I would either break down there or come back later desperate to prove myself. One message from Tessa said, "Make him fight for you. If he walks away, he never really loved you anyway." Another from Sloane said, "Public rejection equals power reset. He will either man up or prove he was weak all along." They talked about how it needed to be public for maximum effect, how humiliation would break me down and make me more moldable. Using someone's love as a stage test is not romance. It is control dressed up like a story. Bry also told me there was a backup guy, one of Sloane's wealthy showroom clients. They were not officially together, but she was texting him, meeting for coffee, keeping him interested. Tessa's advice was basically, keep the fire captain for stability, keep the finance guy as an option. Best of both worlds until you choose. I asked Bry why she was telling me all this. She said, "Because you are a good person and my sister is treating this like a game, and because I know Tessa is planning something else." According to her, Tessa was pushing Sloane to do a second round. Another public scene to make me look like the bad guy if I did not come back to her. I drove home after that conversation feeling oddly calm. Everything suddenly made sense. Every time Sloane got strange about me meeting her work friends, every time she went dark for hours and came back with a big story, every time she demanded space but panicked when I actually gave it, I texted my buddy Miles from the station. "It is a script. They planned the whole thing." He replied, "What do you need?" I told him I might need a place to crash in 2 weeks. He said, "Done." I decided that if they wanted a performance, I would let them set the scene, but I would write the ending. 3 days later, Sloane texted asking if we could meet and really talk. She said she wanted to apologize and suggested we meet at Romano's to face what happened there together. It was clearly the setup Bry had warned me about. Same restaurant, same stage, same audience. I said yes. I showed up at 7 in the evening. Romano's was busy again with the dinner rush. I arrived first and saw right away that Sloane had arranged everything. Same corner table by the window. Tessa and 2 other friends sitting a few tables away, trying and failing to blend in. Sloane arrived 10 minutes late, looking perfect in another red dress. She hugged me when she sat, something she had not done in weeks. I kept my arms at my sides. We ordered drinks. She started talking about how she had been reflecting, how she was working on herself, how she realized what mattered. It sounded like a string of captions. I just listened and drank my water. Halfway through her main course, she made her move. She stood up, glanced at Tessa's table, and walked around to my side. Before I could process it, she was on one knee with a ring. It looked cheap, probably bought just for this moment. "I am ready now," she said loudly. "I choose you. Please give me another chance." The restaurant went quiet again. People watched. Tessa had her phone out, filming. Giulia behind the bar looked like she wanted the floor to open. If I said no, I would be the cold partner who rejected a woman's public apology. If I said yes, I would walk right back into her script as the grateful man she could control. I did not raise my voice. I said, "Get up, Sloane." She stayed kneeling, confused. "This is not real," I said. "You do not love me, so just get up." People were listening. I saw a couple of heads nod slowly. Tessa rushed over and started calling me toxic, saying I was punishing Sloane for having feelings. I cut her off. Casual was what she asked for. I just delivered what was ordered. Then I pulled out my phone and put it on the table, screen facing Sloane. On it were the screenshots from the group chat, the messages about power reset, the plan to humiliate me so I would fight for her, the talk about molding me. "Sloan," I said quietly, "this is not an apology. I already knew. I knew everything. You do not like that I stopped playing along with your game, so now you need a new story where you forgive me and I chase you. I am not doing that." I picked up my phone, put $40 cash on the table for my share and stood. "You do not have to explain," I said. "I get it. You need a spotlight. I am done being part of the show." Then I walked out. This time she did not follow me into the parking lot. My phone started buzzing before I reached my truck. Sloan, then Tessa, then unknown numbers. I turned it off until I got home. Later, when I turned it back on, I saw Sloan had posted a long story online about how I had humiliated her and refused to let her apologize, saying I made her into a villain when she was just trying to love me. But for the first time in weeks I smiled because under that post her sister Bri had commented one line. "There are screenshots. There was a plan. There was a script." That was it. 15 words. The post came down in 20 minutes. Tessa locked her account. Some of Sloane's friends who were at Romano's started to back away. I spent that night at Miles's place instead of going back to the apartment. The next morning, while Sloane was at work, I went home, grabbed my essential stuff, and left a note saying I would be back for the rest before the lease ended. I said we could handle everything else by text. Later I went to Romano's to apologize to Giulia for turning her restaurant into a stage twice. She laughed and said, "The second time you handled it like a boss. First time too. That girl was always trouble." A few days later, Sloane texted to say she would take over the full rent until the lease ended if I signed off on her keeping the apartment. That was fine by me. I got my name off the lease and walked away. I took the ring back to the jeweler. They gave me about 60% of what I paid. I put that money toward a deposit on a new place. A smaller apartment, more basic, no special lighting, no aesthetic. It is quiet and it is mine. I am not celebrating. I do not feel like I won. I just feel like I finally stopped playing a game I did not know I was in. Sloane wanted someone she could control, someone who would chase her, someone who would make her the center of the story. I wanted a partner. Those two things were never going to match. Here are some things I learned from all of this. Lesson 1. Public humiliation is not a test of love. It is a test of how much control someone thinks they deserve over you. Lesson 2. When someone tells you that you are just for fun or treats you like a backup, believe them the first time. Lesson 3. If a person needs to script your reactions and plan your pain to feel powerful, you are not in a relationship. You are in a performance. Lesson 4. Setting boundaries and matching the energy you are given is not being cold. It is protecting your self-respect. Lesson 5. You do not need to blow up or cause a scene to leave a bad situation. Calm, firm walking away can be the strongest answer. Lesson 6. You cannot be a real partner to someone who sees you as a character in their story instead of a person with your own. What about you? At what point in this story would you have walked away? Would it have been after the public rejection, the group chat reveal, or the second staged scene at the restaurant? Have you ever realized too late that someone was treating your real life like a script? Share your thoughts in the comments.